There we go. Hi everyone. I am going to be assembling and hopefully finishing Chad's PC today. Finally got all the parts that we needed. We got the battery, we got the, or not battery, wrong with me. Not the battery, but the power supply. We got the motherboard, we got the graphics card over there, we got the RAM, we got the processor, we got the cooler for the CPU, and yeah, I'm just going to be finishing putting this together and testing it out, and hopefully it will post. If it doesn't, then I guess we got a problem. But I figured you all should be here for that, and by the way, I am doing this off of my phone, so you all probably can't, I can't see the comments right now unless I go back here. Hold on. Oh, J1 Slaps. Hello. So yeah, in terms of comments, I'm kind of in the dark. Anyway, so figured to get us started, what we would do is we would start with the processor. The processor I originally had in mind to do this was the Ryzen 5 2600, which is a decent enough CPU in its own right. But given the fact that we went over our assumed budget of $1,000, I decided to go ahead and get Chad a little bit of a higher end processor for his own good. So I went ahead and I got him the Ryzen 7 3700, 3700X, which, gotta be honest, I didn't expect us to be able to afford a decent processor like this, but we were able to, thanks to you all. Thank you all again very, very much. Now, this does have a cooler that comes with it, a little AMD Wraith Spire cooler, but where we have the Be Quiet Dark Rock here, it'll keep the system cooler better, and will also be a lot quieter. So that's why that's why the box is so big for this little thing right here. Also, a little Ryzen 7 sticker right here, which I'm gonna put on the back as a decal for the the case. So here we go. Now, several important things to remember when it comes to installing a CPU. When it comes to it, you look for the little golden dot or the little golden arrow down here in the corner, and you look for the arrow that corresponds with it on the motherboard socket. So, I pull the arm back, I line them up like so. Make sure that you don't force it in there. It should just fall right in like that. And we make doubly sure everything's good. Yep, there we go. And then after that, you just push it around, make sure it's not really wiggling that much. Then you put the arm down, and that locks the processor in place. There we go. So that's first part done. And now we move on to the RAM, which we have 32 gigs of DDR4 3200 here. Again, I was able to afford just a little bit better because I was going to go for 2400 speed, and it's actually, yeah, I was going to go for 2400 speed, and instead I got 3200. So yeah, a little bit better RAM to go in Chad's PC. Now keep in mind, this is not going to be like top of the line, holy hell, this thing is ridiculous kind of level of RAM or a PC rather. Instead, this is just going to be something that Chad is able to do his work on, and also do gaming, because he wants to really start taking that more seriously. He wants to stream on, he was streaming on Facebook, but because of Facebook standards, he's probably going to stream either on Twitch or Mixer. So, just depends on what he decides. Sorry if you all are commenting on there. I just can't really see anything because of the everything, the setup I got down here. Which, if I had my PC down here, I'd be able to do something. But where this is sort of a spur of the moment kind of thing, this is the best I can do. But here we go. So, hope everyone's having a good week so far. Hope everyone's looking forward to the weekend. I've got some plans this weekend with Chad. We're actually going to be going to a wrestling show in Asheville, North Carolina, Yeah, things are looking like they're gonna be pretty cool down there. Chad's gonna be wrestling, by the way, and me, I'm just gonna be operating the. I'm not gonna wrestle myself. I'm just gonna be operating the show equipment and everything, audio, video, stuff like that. There we go. Sorry if this isn't what you all expected. I know you all were probably expecting a more lavish setup, but this is sort of the best I can do for right now. Sorry. And, let's see. Now this thing, once I finish building it, it is not going to be like fully complete. Of course, I'm going to add a M.2 drive in here for Chad for storage of his games and everything. Probably just going to opt to do a 2 terabyte hard drive. And yeah, here we go. There we are. So all 4 RAM slots are now going to be filled with this DDR4 RAM. And holy hell. Yeah, this is, even after building PCs now for the last 4 or 5 years, I'd say this is easily I've built easily a dozen PCs now, or either built or assisted in building a dozen PCs. I've done most of them by myself, and now it looks like, there we go. And last RAM slot filled. Make sure they're all locked in. Okay, we're good. And now move on to the PC cooler, or the CPU cooler. Here we go. There's Nick. He's in the kitchen right now. Don't mind me, Nick. I'm live streaming me building this. Wasn't sure if you saw it or not. So this is the fan that's going to be going on the cooler. I'm going to move everything else out of the way for now. There we are. And this is effectively what's going to be on top of the CPU, keeping it cool. This is a processor cooler I have used a lot in the past. There's all the brackets and everything. And also, Chad kind of wanted to go with a stealth build for this specific build. He got the case from his sister, who pretty much just gave it to him for free, which I think is really cool. And yeah, effectively, what has happened is I've had to work on that case more than I thought I would. But I had to. It needed new. Of course, it needed new screws and everything in it, but of course it also needed new standoffs. And when I installed the standoffs, there was something really weird about them. They were not staying. They weren't staying put. So I had to go out and I had to find nuts that fit on the back of them to secure them down better. And I found them, but it took me a long time because I wasn't sure exactly what size they were. And then I looked, and it turns out they were metric 3. So here we are. We got the Intel backplate. We have an AMD. Okay, long AMD mounting brackets. So I have to install the mounting brackets on here. And the way to do that is, nope. So okay, these are little thin. These are the little fan holders. Those are going to go on the side of the processor cooler. AMD. Okay. Thankfully, they label these bags pretty well. AMD, Intel, and then everything else in between. They even give you a little bit of a thermal paste in there as well, just in case. So, yeah, what I'm going to do is just attach everything here, and then we're going to go from there. Hopefully nothing bad happens. Hopefully. Given my history, though, I mean, bad things do tend to happen, especially when I'm involved. So let's see here. Is this everything? Yep, everything in different languages, thankfully. No, that's the Russian one. I pulled out the wrong one. There we go. Is this English? Yes, this is English. So, it's one of the more difficult parts. Just getting everything working. Okay. There's Intel brackets. The long CPU brackets. Okay. So, effectively, what they want you to do is use this brace and put it along inside of it, like so. And then you attach the fins onto the sides right here. And even though I am touching the where the cooler attaches to the CPU, it's got the plastic on it, so it won't matter that much. And then they want you to put on the brackets, like so. Gosh. All this little tedious work. But that's what I signed up for. Oh, now what do you mean? So, let's see here. LGA, AMD, we need AMD. There it is, AMD. So, interesting. So, you actually have to keep those on there, I guess. Yeah, as a matter of fact, it's telling us keep those on there. So, whoa, okay. It's a bit strange. So, okay, we don't keep that on there. Thought we did. Oops. I was wrong. I'll have a screwdriver here. Take these out. Oh, come on. It'll be difficult now. I put the, oh, sitting right here. Oops. Socket. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, this isn't riveting. I just wanted everyone who donated and took part in this to at least have a chance to see it being made live, so you all know that, you know, what you all donated is going to a good cause. Also, Chad's not here right now because, again, he's at wrestling training. I was hoping I could have done this a bit earlier, but I overslept a little bit. By the time the part actually got here, it was already too late. So, yeah. Hopefully everyone's getting along well on this weekend. All right. So this is temporary placement brackets. They're just to keep the back plate in place. So, let's see. According to this, okay. Elbows out. Elbows out and nose up. Okay. Easy enough. And they want the standoffs in there. Okay. There we go. work the way I want it to. There we go. Okay. So the standoffs go over top. Didn't see that. Again, these instructions aren't the best. There we go. Cap. And cap. There we go. Come on. There we go. Now we're cooking. So the whole thing with this bracket is that it's going to make sure that this thing doesn't pretty much mess up the whole thing. That's what I'm hoping anyway. Let's see. And then we don't need those. Again, I'm not a professional at this, everybody. I've just done this enough to know that this is what you need to do in order to make this thing a reality. There we are. Okay, now we got the two types of paste to go on here, thermal paste. The recommendation is at least one pea size, like the size of a pea or cooked grain of rice right in the middle of the processor. I'm going to go with the cooked grain of rice, so there we go. And then cap it off again. And then, expert, everybody. I am an expert at this. At least I'm not dropping it like Linus. I'm happy about that. But, let's see. Now these screws here are the ones that are going to hold the processor on. There we go. There we go. And now, yes, and these carbon screws be a pain in the neck sometimes. Yeah. Turn that down a little bit. Yeah. Make sure it don't move a lot. Okay. There we go. Now the fan. I'm gonna put the fan on, which, let's see, the bracket in here, no. Oh, actually I don't need those. He said that, forgot that they changed them up over the last couple of years. It's been a while since I've used Dark Rock. I've either used Dark Rock or Noctua. And thankfully, it looks as though Dark Rock has effectively changed their standards on how to put these on. So what you do is you look for the little rubber grommets, which, has even got rubber grommets anymore? Oh, they attached them to, I'm an idiot, guys. They attach their little rubber grommets here to the side of the cooler so you can actually place this against it and it won't vibrate, thus creating less noise as a whole. So I'm going to do that. Get it at a decent height to where it's not rubbing on the CPU any. Let's see. Okay, we gotta use the shorter ones. There we go. There we are. Oh, baby, there we go. Look in there. Yeah. Actually, I didn't think about that. I'm actually gonna move this around to where I have I forgot about the cable. Cable's gotta go up and attach into the fan port onto the side of the motherboard. So I'll do that. There we go. Come on. And the other short one, here it is. And get it in here too. There we go. So, alright. Now we get the little fan header. We put it over here. We want to put it in CPU fan number 1, which is usually listed on here. CPU fan 1 is the first one on the left. So, we'll go ahead and do that. And there we go. Now our CPU fan is where it needs to be. We got our RAM installed, our CPU installed. We had an M.2, I'd have installed it in here already, but where I'm waiting on that one, gonna have to install it after we make sure that this thing works. So now we move on to the installation on the PC case, which I'll be doing as best I can to not break this thing. I mean, yet again, cannot state this enough, I am not perfect at this. Here, I'll actually do this. I'll bring this a little bit closer so y'all can see. Point it down. Actually, I'll raise it up. I forgot. Stand actually can raise it up pretty high. So there we go. I would hire someone to build it for me. I'm weak. Sarah, anyone can build a PC. Anybody. Trust me. This is not that difficult. And the more you do it, the better you get. Trust me. I have messed up enough times on these things to where, honestly, I had to jerry-rig a few things on the first PC I ever built, and somehow, some way, by some miracle, it still worked. So, yeah. First time, too. Well, it's first time for everything. First time building a gaming PC, or even a PC, period. I messed up big time. Like I just messed up right there. There's one thing I forgot to put in that is required unless it's already installed on top of it. There you are. I forgot to put in the I/O shield. See? Even I make mistakes, even after building these a dozen times. And also you want to make sure that when you install it, that you're installing it the right way up, which you can actually look at the motherboard and the way it's facing, and you can actually do that. So what I'm going to do is, I keep coming back to the Verge and how bad the Verge's build was. You know, I feel sorry for the people who wrote that, made that video, because it has been just outright derided by the internet. 13 people worked on that video, and it was sponsored by MasterCard. That's both hilarious and sad all on the same thing. Just make sure everything's good. You don't want to force it, you just want to make sure that it's not going to pop out. So there we go. And now I can bring the motherboard over. Now I got it. Also, fairly common practice to run the cables to the motherboard before completely nailing it down with the screws. And we got that up here with the one that's the hardest to reach, the the CPU. Come on. I knew this one was going to be rough. I may have to take the fan off on the cooler to get it in here, which if I have to, I guess that's what I have to do. But yeah. Yeah, I don't want to jostle this thing around too much because I'm afraid it'll, you know, something very bad will happen if I do. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to remove the fan off this thing just to get it to go in right. Ain't that something? There we go. Just set it right there for now. Yeah, now I can get my hand in here. Come on, man. This has got to be so difficult. Come on. Yep, see, this is the tricky part of building a gaming PC, is that sometimes, even when you do everything right, by the book, by the right standards, sometimes some of the most simple things, like plugging in a 4-pin on the CPU, or on the motherboard, for the CPU, this doesn't want to go. and you got to sit here live streaming in front of, I don't know, 50 some odd people. Now hopefully you don't make a complete idiot out of yourself, or better yet, you don't break the damn thing, which I hope I don't do. There we go. Here's one. And there's two. And just like that, there you go. That was the part I was dreading the most. Thankfully it didn't take as long as it's taken me in the past. Sometimes I've had to completely take the CPU cooler off and then do it all over again. And I gotta get this in there. There we go. And now I gotta get the screws put in the motherboard. Once I get the motherboard secured down, I'll put the fan back in. And then after that, I'll plug up the SATA port to our lone SSD hard drive. And then I'll get the graphics card installed. And then we'll start a boot up test to see, or then I'll get everything on the case installed too. See, again, I'm forgetting steps. Kind of an idiot, guys. I'm kind of an idiot. Can't help myself. Oh, there they are. So it's always good to have backups just in case your box doesn't have the right screws in it, or if it ain't got no screws at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these pot screws that normally come with motherboards, and I'm going to install all of them in here because we got all 9 anchor points of this motherboard to attach down. And here we go. There we go. There we go. That was the toughest screw. Yeah. This could be going a lot worse. Knock on wood. You know, motherboard could crack, which would be the worst possible thing that could happen. Processor could be bad, which, again, would be very, very bad. Oh. There it is. I could hit or nick something that could outright just kill the system, which, you know, again, that'd be absolutely terrible. So you need 1, 2 more. And that's it. Yeah. Okay. Now that that's done, now I will install this. There we go. Screwdriver down, of course. Don't risk anything with it. Third fin down. Oh, there we go. Damn it. There we go. There's 1. Now for 2. Come on, damn it. There we go. Finally. Okay. All good to go. Now, in terms of cable management, this is going to be a bit of a trick. So, let's see here.
Not sure why, but it kind of looks like you're building this thing in an earthquake.
Oh, it's because of the stabilization thing that's on here. Yeah, the stabilization thing is a bit, because when I take a step, no?
Actually, I think it's fixed now.
Well, I guess where it was on carpet.
Could be.
And it was solely on carpet. Thank you, Nick. So, let's see. We go over the checklist. So, got everything installed on here, got everything attached down. See. There we go. So now, let's see. Before I install the graphics card, I do need to run the I/O for the case. Which one is enough? Let's see here. So that okay, that's audio. There's USB 3.0, so I'll run it back here, then out here, and then up. There we go. USB 3.0 in there. Get that attached down. And let's see here. The start and LED. I think I just need to run all of them out the side and then down to their respective places. Because HD audio is, well, frontline USB is right here. Where are you at? Right there, okay. Will that reach? I'm worried that won't reach. If I run it down and out and back around, let's see. Just barely makes it. Just barely made it. Oh, not sure that that's the right way. Yep, that is the way. Pun on the Mandalorian there, very much intended. Let's see. And this is front facing USB. So I will take it down here and run it up like so. Which one of these is USB 1? USB 2. USB port 9, 1. Okay, 2. So you go there. And now power and LED, which is right here, these two. So if I run them down here, cable management is always something in cases that is often overlooked for good reason. It's not the most important thing. But for me, cable management in this will equate to things being much, much easier. Okay. So, power switch. Okay, power switch, plus and minus. Okay, go right there. And what do we got here? Okay, power LED minus, which is this one. And then power LED plus, which is this one. Don't be so difficult. There we go. So there we go. And that's it for cable management on that side. And now comes the really, really difficult part of installing this here, which I'm sure I'm going to need. Yeah, I'm going to need another. Oh gosh. Things have got to be always just a little bit difficult. Which for these new Pascal powered, or I'm sorry, Tesla powered CPUs, you need a little bit of extra oomph just to get it running. So I need to unplug this one. Let's see. SATA VGA. Okay. Wait. Unplug this one and plug in the regular one. Okay, so just in case I'm going to have this one back here in the very, very back, just in case I need it. There we go. There's the one. And then where's the second one? There it is. There we go. And push these through to the other side. Like so. Cool. Alright. Then I'll plug this one back in. Boom. So this is the graphics card. This monstrosity. Holy hell. Wasn't expecting it to be like that. Jesus. It'll fit, it's just, Jesus, that's a friggin' big graphics card. You know, I hate when I'm looking for something and all the time it's right beside me. So yeah. There we go. And put you back here, like so. Oh, excuse me. And there we go. Yeah, as you can see back here, it's sort of a nightmare, which I'll be trying to zip tie it all together. Or I'm sorry, Verge. Tweezers. Using tweezers to put it all together. Haha. And now, let's see which ones I have to free up. Wow, okay, that's going to be really close. Holy crap. So I got to free up this second one here on the bottom. So one thing as well, this thing is definitely not the best when it comes to PCI expansions. That's a bit annoying, but oh well, can't really complain about a free case. Come on, there we go. Then we put these utility screws in here, make sure that it doesn't move. God, that thing's humongous. Compared to Nick's, this thing is just gargantuan. To use a longer neck on this thing. There we go. The other thing about this iFixit kit is its ability to adapt pretty much its ability to adapt and do literally everything you need it to. So there we go. Anything, I'll just get a long neck screwdriver and use it instead. Because this thing's going to be difficult. There we go. That's one. There we go. Okay. Okay. I think that's everything. Okay, here's the standoffs for the M.2s. Need that. I'll keep those there for now. Okay. Now, we'll see if this thing starts up. That's the big thing. I don't have a monitor here, that's the thing. Only monitor... Actually, TV might be close enough, so I'll run it over to that, and we'll see what happens. Excuse me. Oh, whoops. There we go. All right. See if this works. This looks real hard. Sonic gaming, no. It's not that hard. It's just, you gotta know what to do. Once you learn it, it gets easier and easier. Where's the daggone power cable? Had it right here. Oh, here it is. Well, that's a good sign. It's receiving power, which is a good thing. Now I just gotta make sure it's receiving a proper video signal. So, power's on. Hey, it posted. That's what we want to see. Woo! Ah, okay. Okay, I can breathe. Holy hell. Okay. Hold my breath the whole time, just like, is this thing even gonna work? And lo and behold, it does work. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to take this thing back over to the table. I'm going to end the stream, do a little bit of cable management, and then I guess get Windows installed on this thing, and I guess we're going to see what happens. But, whoo! Okay, I can breathe now. I can finally breathe, because at least I know all this together works. Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and shut it down. There we go. And again, everybody, thank you for tuning into the stream. Really, this was something that you all made possible, and hopefully you all will be able to enjoy whatever Chad is going to be putting out. And yeah, again, from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure Chad's heart as well if he were here, thank you all so much. Thank you.